Hey, welcome and congratulations for getting your hands on this book, Rebirthing the Entrepreneurial Spirit in Africa, How to Be in Control of Your Destiny and Become the Person That Calls the Shots. Listen, just by the mere fact that you're watching this video now proves to me that you're one of a rare kind, because listen, a lot of people buy books but they never get to read them. Most of what the people do is they just admire the front cover of the book. They go to the back cover, maybe read the back cover part, and then they browse some chapters, and then they throw the book on the shelf and they go away thinking that they've read the book. Now, I know that you're not going to treat this book that way, because believe it or not, I've got a lot of information, valuable information that's between the covers of this book. So let's keep the momentum, okay? Let's keep the momentum. And I want to thank you most sincerely for choosing me as your guide in this entrepreneurial process as we go through this book. So let's get to it. The Entrepreneurial Spirit. Let's head to my computer and I'm going to show you something. Shall we? Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say we all start over here. I'll put the start over here. We start here, and by start here I mean this is where you're born, boom, brought into this world, 1 day old. And these days it only takes like 2 to 3 years before you're thrown into the school system. At 2 years old or 3 years old, they take you to what they call baby class or preschool or whatever they call it now. But it is the school system, and from as early as that age, they begin to program your mind to become a person that they would like to see in society. So I'm going to put the school system over here. So I'm going to say school system here. School system. Okay, excuse my handwriting. But that's the school system. And the primary job of the school system is, number one, to teach you obedience. So there are a set number of rules and laws that the school system or the system has, which you must be taught from as early as 2 years old, 3 years old, so that they can come up with a person that they want in society. So they begin to show you what are the laws. So from as early as preschool, they begin to tell you, do not make noise, or you must ask for permission to go outside and sit down, or do this and do that. There are all these types of laws and rules, and they want you to be obedient to the system. Okay? So a person who is disobedient to the system is separated usually. In adult stage, if you are disobedient to the laws of the system, you're separated and thrown into prison. And while at prison, if you begin to become disobedient to the laws that are set by the prison, they will put you in isolation. And the reason really is separation is like the highest form of punishment you can give an individual, a person, because by nature people are interactive and they want to relate to one another. So if you are disobedient to the laws that are set by society, they separate you. And this is why the life of an entrepreneur really is a very lonely path, because an entrepreneur is by nature not an obedient person to the set laws and rules of a system. They abrogate what the system has put in place as the laws and the rules to follow. So anyhow, the system teaches you obedience. Number two, the system teaches you dependence. So the system wants you to be dependent on its resources. It tells you and promises you that this system has all the resources that you will ever need. It's got everything that you will ever need in life. All you need to do is be obedient, become a good citizen, and follow instructions, and you can depend on the system. So the system inculcates dependence in your system. So you become a person that's dependent on the system. But when you grow up, here's one thing that you will realize. When you wake up in the morning, From the time that you wake up in the morning to the time that you go to sleep, you will need to eat your breakfast, your lunch, and your supper. You will need to move from A to B. And to do that, you need money. And you're so interrelated with money. Your adult life is so intertwined with money that everything you do demands money. And yet the school system gives you no lessons about money. So you find that there are no money lessons in school. No money lessons. Number 4, the school system teaches you nothing about entrepreneurship. No entrepreneurial thinking. So it doesn't show you how to think as an entrepreneur. It doesn't show you anything to do with entrepreneurship. Why? Because the school system wants you to be dependent on itself. It doesn't teach you about money because it wants you to be dependent on it, on the resources of the system. So no entrepreneurial thinking. Okay, like that, right? No entrepreneurial thinking. But here's the big thing about the school system. Number 5, the school system prepares you for employment. So the big job of the school system is to make you employable at whatever level of education that you attain through the school system. They would like you to become an employee. So here's what happens. After you've gone through the school system, let me get a different color. The school system establishes in you what is called an employee mindset. So you end up with a mindset known as the employee mindset. Now, what is a mindset? Think of a mindset as like an operating system of a computer. Right now, you're watching this video, and you might be watching it from a computer that has Windows running on it, or maybe it's an Apple computer, or maybe it's a Linux computer. The Windows computer, Windows is the operating system, or Linux is the operating system. That is like the foundation on which the computer is running. Without that operating system, the computer will not run. But here's the thing. You cannot run programs that are meant for an Apple computer, for instance, on a Windows machine, on a Windows computer. Those two things are incompatible. It's like trying to get a fish to breathe outside of water, or trying to get you to breathe underwater. That's not going to happen. Your operating system is above the water, on the ground. So you get the idea. So you have this employee mindset as your operating system. So, and what this does is that 98% of the time you're going to need a job to survive. A person with the employee mindset will need to have a job for them to survive. And it doesn't matter at whatever level. You could be at diploma level. Maybe you got a diploma from the school system, or maybe you got your bachelor's degree from the school system. You may have got a master's or a PhD. You're a doctor, or even a professorship. You might be a professor. It doesn't matter whatever level. A person with this mindset will always need a job in order to survive. And I'm sure you may have already seen very broke doctors or professors. Why is that? because they will always need a job to survive, because they have this operating system. This operating system taught them dependence on the system. So if the system cannot provide, then they are stuck. Okay, so how do you deal with this type of problem? Let me get a different color. How you deal with this type of a problem is begin to put in engaging in what I call a parallel knowledge system. Okay, so you need a parallel knowledge system. This parallel knowledge system is to counter the effects of what the school system has put in your mind. And what do I mean by a parallel knowledge system? You need to, number one, begin to read books such as the one that you're reading, and there are like hundreds and thousands of them. Books about entrepreneurship, books about business, books about changing your mind and transforming your mind. There are so many of them. The reason is you want to put in information that will counter the kind of information that produced the employee mindset. Number two, you need to begin to attend seminars and workshops that are talking about business. Workshops and seminars that are talking about entrepreneurship. Be a person that has a separate account where you're throwing in money on a monthly basis, just for the purpose of attending seminars, because these are what are going to develop a different mindset in you. Number three, you need to be a person that does personal research. Be inquisitive about how things work. How does a microphone work? How does a mouse work? How does a bulb work? Be inquisitive. That's going to produce a different operating system called the entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurial, it's a very long word. Entrepreneurial mindset. And that's very important, that's very key in your life. Why? Because you don't want to be dependent on a system that cannot always provide for you. Because this particular type of mindset, 98% of the time, it's going to instigate ownership. I don't have enough. Let me use a different color maybe. It's going to instigate ownership and control. So 98% of the time, you're going to want to start a business. You're going to want to start investing. You're going to want to start being in charge. Why? Because you have a different type of mindset. This mindset is the very opposite to this other mindset, which teaches you obedience and dependence. This one teaches you ownership and control. And these are the complete opposites. And an entrepreneurial mindset is a very opposite to the employee mindset. And this is a mindset that you need to become free. Because, believe it or not, the employee mindset is a mindset of a slave. The entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset of a free. It's a mindset of an owner. It's a mindset of a person that's in control.